Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA Saturday Cup Series here at Iowa Speedway. Of course, this is one of my favorite tracks, of course, and can't wait to see these guys in action. Of course, 200, and I do believe 19 laps we have here. Going to be a long one. Of course, I'm Brian Britt, and joined in the booth by Big Al. How you doing tonight, Big Al?
Doing exceptionally well, Brian. Doing exceptionally well. About yourself, how you doing this evening?
Not doing too bad. Definitely been enjoying the festivities here at Iowa this week for sure. Of course, as I mentioned before, 200 laps or 200 miles these guys are going to have to do here. 219 laps. Stages are going to be 45 and 100. Of course, 5 tire sets down there in the pits. Of course, actually 4 in the pits. 100 lap fuel window. Definitely was quite the long window on, I'd say, Thursday, Big Al. I mean, how do you think this one's going to go? I mean, we saw some accidents and some beating and banging a little bit at Iowa. You think it's going to be the same way today?
Yeah, but maybe a little bit more tame. I don't think these guys are. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have as many incidents as we had on Thursday night. Number one, the field is slightly smaller, and two, I think a lot of these guys have probably gone to the drawing board and maybe learned a little.
What's a drawing bird?
Well, a drawing bird is a no, I don't know. It's a Western pheasant. Maybe
it could be. There could be a such thing as a drawing bird. I wouldn't doubt it. But it looks like qualifying course is still underway. Just a little bit of under 2 minutes left here. Got Jose Acosta going to be here tonight instead of Abner, his brother, who won on Thursday. And Jose, actually, I talked to him a little bit last night, Big Al, and he said he heard what I said about him on Thursday.
Oh, wow. Well, what did he say about it?
Well, I mean, he just said he knew I was just kidding with him. Why don't we talk a little bit about the track facts here, Big Al?
Yeah, well, now the outside ambient air temperature is going to be somewhere around 74 degrees. Track temp itself is 79 degrees with the winds out of the southwest at 5 miles an hour. So I think we got the makings for a very, very good weather forecast, and I think it's only going to get cooler here as the night goes on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if I recall, on Thursday it started getting a little bit darker. We had cloud cover that kind of was rolling in and out for sure, so we'll have to wait and see how this kind of all turns out. Do believe we're running out of time here in qualifying. 45 seconds remaining. Jose Acosta, of course, still out on the racetrack.
Clayton Hoffman just joined us. That's going to be, yeah, an awesome ad right there.
100%. That's going to make us definitely turn the heat up quite a bit, that's for sure. But let's go ahead and take that step away, play our national anthem, and we're right back with the start of this race.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The nighttime is the right time. Remember what I told all my drivers? Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines!
There are only a few corn rootworm traits widely available, and many brands use the same ones. So switching brands for corn rootworm needs may have little impact when it comes to traits protecting your fields. There are two main types of Bt proteins, Cry3 and Cry3435. Because most corn rootworm products include two modes of action, there is typically at least one trait from each of these protein families in a product. Cry3435 traits carry the heaviest weight when it comes to protecting against corn rootworm today. The two Cry3435 events out there are the Herculex Extra trait and the event DP4114 found in Pioneer brand Chrome products. Pioneer helped develop both of these traits. Since seed brands all share Bt trait technologies, the bigger performance difference comes from the corn genetics. They determine traits like yield potential, root strength, and disease tolerance to yield-robbing diseases like tar spot. Pioneer corn hybrids are 100% exclusive. Nope, you won't find them in another bag, and come from the germplasm we've been building for more than 100 years. We're the only corn brand that can say that.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we have our grid set for this evening's action. Randy Mullins going to be starting on the pole here. Of course, Randy finished third on Thursday, so I expect great things from him tonight. Chris Severa, of course, going to be starting on the outside pole. Third place, Kendall Lavron. Glad to see him out here. Jose Acosta, fourth place right now on the starting grid. Fifth place, Kenny Powell. Darren Mullins going to be starting in sixth place. Seventh place, Clayton Hoffman. Glad to see him out here for sure. Joey Preeby going to be starting in the eighth position. Ninth place, Paul Olson and Gary Adamson rounding out our top 10. And, of course, last but not least is Derek Jacobs in 11th. Definitely didn't give you a whole lot list there, Big Al, but I'm still excited. I think that we've seen these Saturday races not have as much participation, but they've still been very exciting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do they ever leave us without something to talk about?
Oh, I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about here tonight as everybody's or getting those engines roared, springing to life, if you will. And these guys are going to be out here racing hard. I mean, Iowa, a two-wide kind of racetrack, Big Al. You can make two-wide work for sure, but tire wear is going to be the big thing.
Yeah, it's also tremendously challenging to pass. I think that's what I would have dubbed Thursday's night race as. If I had to put a single headline on it in the paper, I would write extremely challenging to pass.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect way to put it. I mean, because it was incredibly hard for these guys to pass. I mean, we watched Derek Heitman and, if I'm recalling, Randy Mullins fighting each other quite a bit on Thursday, and it seemed like it was just impossible.
Yeah, no doubt that Mullins is probably glad to see that Heitman is not in this field tonight. I'm pretty sure because he was, extremely frustrated, and that's because it was extremely difficult to pass.
Yeah, of course, nothing did wrong there from Derek Heitman. On his part, he was just racing this line. It's just as hard to pass for sure, and I think we're going to see more of that here tonight. And I think, with how long this race is, I think another one of the talking points we had on Thursday was, 219 laps, Big Al. I mean, by the time you get to the end of that, you're going to be frustrated. Everybody's going to be frustrated on this racetrack.
Yeah, not me. I'm just gonna sit here and chill.
That's right. We're up in the best place to be right here. We get to
Yeah,
watch these
absolutely.
guys. I couldn't imagine doing a race 219 laps here at this racetrack. You'd be physically exhausted at the end.
Yeah, it's gonna be demanding on the drivers. Sitting, in that seat for as long as they're gonna be sitting and focusing, because you have to make every lap perfect, or as perfect as you can. And, but the good thing for us is, I think, with this size crowd and with the caliber of drivers we've got here, we're probably gonna see some green flag pit stops.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big possibility as we see the pace car dive down pit road. Green flag going to be out for the first time here. Randy Mullins leads us there. Chris Severa pretty wiggly up on the top there as he applies the gas pedal down as they head into turn one. Still side by side for the lead. Randy Mullins almost able to get clear, but not quite. Oh, Mullins
Got
loose
loose.
into Kendall LeBron.
Yeah,
Oh,
hard
my
into
goodness.
LeBron.
Oh, and then hits him
Still not over.
again.
The 1-2 punch on the LeBron. Still,
Gosh.
neither one of these drivers receiving a dreaded meatball flag, so that means they're both. Oh, nope, that's it for Randy Mullins. He just popped up. That's going to send him behind the wall, at least for a while. Man,
How unfortunate for Kendall LeBron, though. I mean, he has been every race, he's had a problem like that, and that was no fault of his own. Let's take a look back at that.
man, he got hit twice. And you'll see Randy Mullins just gets a little loose, and once he sees it starting to drift, he kind of comes out of the throttle, and just kind of throttle management right there just snaps back on him. There's nothing Kendall LeBron could do. Mullins now riding backwards, and boom, gets him again on the exit.
Yeah, I think I could not believe. That's what I'm so shocked and surprised about, that he hit him again. I mean, because Kendall, I don't think throttled out. He just was kind of like, okay, I'm past it. I'm going to just slowly get away from here. And then Randy was still carrying a pretty good bit of pace backwards.
Mm-hmm. He got him backwards.
I mean, look at this. He's faster than Jose Acosta backwards right now.
Yeah. And that's probably going to cause a little conversation about why he didn't at least attempt to kind of maybe slow it down or stop it. But anyway,
He could have hit the brakes. I think you're right. I think that could have been something that he could have did. But when you're in the moment, it's happening so fast, Big Al, so hard to react.
I understand that, but I'm just telling you that, I'm not saying it. I'm just suggesting this. Someone's going to say, well, hey, why didn't he hit the brakes sooner? I mean, I'm not saying it, though. I was just, I just heard it.
You heard it in your thoughts.
Well, I mean, one of the 52 said something.
One of the 52 said. Oh, man.
Early on, too.
What an accident. Gosh.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Could have been a lot worse, Brian. We started this thing with a small field. That accident had the potential to be a lot bigger than it was.
Especially because it was the pole sitter.
Yeah. I think a lot of guys dodged the bullet on that. Kudos to all of you. Take a break there, take you a sip of Budweiser or whatever your beverage of choice is, and relax a little bit, because we're getting ready to go back at it. And hopefully, I think we're going to be at it pretty hard and consistent once we do start. We got
It's crazy to be the pole sitter. Yeah, he's still on pit road right now. I think still taking repairs.
Yeah, LeBron is actually being scored at 1 lap down right now. Getting ready to go 2 if he don't get his boogie on pretty soon.
And I'm sure he's deflated. I mean, you got to think of how bad Kendall's luck has been.
Well, who's feeling bad? The 54 is feeling bad. Neither one of these two guys showing meatball flags, which means the 54 cars should just be getting minor repairs now.
Didn't you say I thought he blew up there. He let go. I thought you said that.
No. I said,
that he took a tow? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, no, I was saying that, like, when he was in the process, the meatball didn't show up until actually he got ready to start going forward. So after his contact and everything, he was still showing like good. And then about the time he got ready to go forward is when his actual meatball flag showed up.
Well,
but
hopefully
not
it's
sure
not
what
too
he.
long. We'll have to wait and see for sure. Pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to get this thing back underway as Chris Severa now in control of the field. He's got Jose Acosta on the outside, and the green flag will wave once again. Severa with a really good start there. He's just going to try to drive away here from Jose Acosta. You do see Kenny Powell trying to make something there or happen there. Of course, always ever present and ever, a potential to win is Clayton Hoffman up to fourth now.
Yeah, that would have been catastrophic for Clayton, probably had he qualified, because he would have been right up there in the cusp of that. Looks like the 16 of Preby has got a little bit of a blinking condition going.
And that is kind of continuing from last week. I mean, he had a bad blinking issue last week, even caused some big accidents. You see Jose Acosta sticking right there to Chris Severa. We know that Chris Severa is one that always backs his stuff up. He's never trying to build a gap, really.
No, definitely he or Schauffler. But one thing that I'm watching and see right now is Kenny Powell's got Clayton Hoffman kind of in his rearview mirror. So that could be a little bit unnerving. Plus, that could kind of cause one to maybe push it a little bit harder. Powell definitely, I think he had a top 10 finish here on Thursday. So he'll definitely be trying to at least duplicate that. Well, yeah. He'll at least get a top 10 finish out of this thing tonight. Right, so
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll at least be able to get a top 5 out of this, because he like a couple others down there that we will talk about, because we've got plenty of time here tonight. Definitely would need a good points night.
Kendall LeBron able to get off pit road and only one lap down right now. He looks like not too worse for wear. I thought the way that hit happened, it made it seem like he would have been a lot more damaged and maybe had a hand tied behind his back. But it looks like he's back at it, trying to make something happen. Definitely glad to see that for sure, but Chris Severa still in control of the field. And yeah, Kenny Powell, like a lot of these other guys, they've had a lot of time to race around these tracks. They've done a lot of A-Opens. Kenny Powell, I do believe just maybe last night or the night before, got a second place in the A-Open. Drove from 19th all the way to second, which was really, really good. So, could he possibly get a win here tonight? Or, like you said, a top 5 would be definitely a good points day for that driver.
Yeah, he's definitely going to want to capitalize in the stage braces. Did not do well at all on Thursday night, even though it's a separate series. He is definitely going to want to try to finish higher in those 2 stages versus what he did last week. Now, one thing to note here, man, also is I was expecting to see a lot from Randy Mullins here tonight. He had a strong performance on Thursday, and I figured he was going to have a car to beat. I was actually looking forward to seeing how well he was going to stack up against Clayton Hoffman.
Yeah, that's very good. He was able to stack up well against Abner Acosta, and Clayton Hoffman would have been a worthy opponent for Randy Mullins. And unfortunate, Kenny Powell getting really close here to Chris Severa's back bumper, as you mentioned it. Jose Acosta now up to the lead.
Yeah, Jose Acosta just gotten by Severa. Severa's repositioning himself. Powell was kind of just taking the momentum that he had and kind of run right up onto the back of his CNG teammate, Chris Severa. But looks like all is well so far.
Yeah, and I think the thing that Chris Severa is trying to do right now is he's just trying to take care of his equipment here. We've heard it a lot this week about guys running faster early don't tend to be there late. You know what I mean?
Sometimes Jose is just that guy too. Jose burns them up pretty quick. Patience is definitely not one of his finer virtues. I'll just say that.
Well, you also got Kenny Powell. He's right there on Chris Severa. He's putting a lot of pressure on him. If I had that 92 behind me, I'd be definitely trying to get away from him for sure. But you can't fall into that temptation, to that trap. But look at Paul Olson. Look how good he's doing right now, Big Al. He's up to 6th place.
Yeah. Paul did not have a good race on Thursday, but I tell you, it looks like he is making up for that here tonight. Good way to go, man. I'm always rooting for Paul. He has showed tremendous promise, man. He is definitely one of the guys that is improving a lot out here that we see week in and week out. But also, man, way to go, Kendall. Glad he was actually able to get back on it. It looks like he is going to be competitive. He'll at least get his lap back here once this stage is over.
Yeah, I mean, he will, and he'll live to fight another day. He's right there behind Paul Olson. I mean, he's got still the chance to get a good finish here tonight, so I'm glad he didn't give up on it. Jose Acosta now 7.75 out in front of Chris Severa. Of course, Kenny Powell not going anywhere, still on the back there of Severa.
Randy Mullins is actually back on the race surface now, so he is.
Glad to see that.
Whoop. Here he comes back down pit road. Not sure what that's about. Maybe they got to retighten the lug nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it could even be that, he got it, at least the minimal damage repaired, and then came back out there and maybe just noticed something that was different. Maybe the wheel wasn't turned the right way and he couldn't effectively drive the race car. Because, I mean, even though you could get it out of pit lane, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be pleasant to drive. So maybe there's some more damage that he wants to get repaired here.
Well, he's going back under the blade, but we are still rolling. Almost halfway through the first stage. So far, the first stage has yielded a caution, which actually rolled us for 4 laps.
100%. I do believe we have are going to 45 in this stage.
I believe we've had 3 lead changes thus far.
Taking a nice look through the cockpit camera here of Kenny Powell, and you can kind of see he looks very good on. He's kind of running a little bit low coming out of the corners, but he's able to power off very well. He's staying right there with the 62, and I think Kenny Powell could pass Chris right now, but I don't think he wants to. I think he's sitting there and he kind of just watching the master and hoping that he can save tires.
I think Clayton Hoffman, though, I think he knows exactly how fast he needs to run each lap. So he is just sitting back there keeping just enough pressure on Powell to keep him honest, but not yet letting him get too far out of his sight.
Gotta love these cockpit cameras. I mean, there's nothing like seeing it through, their eyes and kind of see when they're lifting. Interesting, looking at even what gear they're in. A lot of guys running very different setups here tonight.
Yeah,
this is definitely a track that, setup matters quite a bit here at this place, but you got to be able to save the tire and drive the race car. Just like Atlanta last week.
Chris Severa starting to slowly reel in the 42 of Jose Acosta. That lead now just over half a second. So, with that, I think that's what Clayton was doing as well. I think these guys that have their setups where they're going to run a little bit faster on the longer end. I think that's what you're kind of looking for. So I think you'll definitely start to see guys start to challenge each other as we start to get this stage closer to the end of this stage, I should say.
I'll tell you who's been hanging on really well here, too, in the top 5, Darren Mullins. I think he had a little bit of a tragic end to his race on Thursday, but was showing significant speed. So he's going to be trying to carry the torch for son Randy, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, at least for the team's sake, that's the biggest thing. Looking like Randy is back down again.
He's definitely,
Yep,
I don't know.
He's gone. He is disconnected. Apparently, whatever he got when he came out, he wasn't happy with, so he was elected to withdraw from the event.
Yeah, I mean, and it could have very well be, a lot of times when you get damage in this car or any car on iRacing, if you get a lot of damage, there's some things that they can't fix. It's impossible. I mean, you could have it all taken off, but it ain't going to be like when you had a brand new race car.
Yep, and I think what's happening now, these guys are into the stint, and everybody's break points and relief points are starting to be a little bit different, so we're starting to have guys that are actually starting to drive at different points out of the turn. That's going to make it fun for us because we saw that accordion effect on Thursday.
Yeah, we did. We definitely did.
Derek Jacobs brings it down pit road, and I think part of that was kind of to get out of the way maybe. Hopefully he'll stay in here. Maybe he'll just put some tires on that rig and try to get it back out there.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case. Kind of surprising that he was trying to get out of the way. I mean, last I looked, he was 6 or something seconds back from the leader, so maybe he had an issue, possibly, we might have missed.
Well, I just saw him slipping further and further back.
Kenny Powell, though, putting a lot of pressure on Chris Severa as they slowly but surely are running down Jose Acosta. I think Jose's trying to maintain a gap, too. I think this is a different Jose. We've been seeing him get more consistent as time has gone on. I think he wants to keep a gap at about that 4/10 mark.
Yeah, but this is a game of chess, man. There's a lot of things that are going on out there right now. And I think Jose is probably just like, what he's got to do is he's just got to keep his head forward and just concentrate on where he's going, as Kenny Powell is trying to make the move around the outside of Severa. Interesting to see that Severa actually kind of gave Powell the outside, where the outside was really the preferred line of what we saw on Thursday. So a lot of guys being forced to kind of take that pass on the inside, but not doing as well.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like everybody was protecting that top lane. They did not want you to get, above them. If you could stick that nose under above them, you could probably pass them because the exit speed on the top here is so much higher than the bottom.
That's where guys were getting tremendous drive off. There, Jacobs coming back down pit road. Not sure what's going on with him, but that's one way to get mentioned in the broadcast a bunch of times.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, now Kendall LeBron up into the 9th place position. And Paul Olson, he was up in 6th, has fallen back into 8th place.
Yeah, I saw Paul was kind of being challenged a little bit, and Kendall LeBron had actually went by him. He's still a lap down, but it looked and appeared that Olson was kind of going the wrong way through the field. But that's what's going to happen, though, once you get to this point in the stage, just 10 laps or so remaining in the stage. And so drivers are going to start to find that their cars are going to actually start to have a little bit more fall off there as this thing continues. Olsen, I mean, way off the pace now. I mean, he is now some 24. Sorry. Yeah, he's 6 seconds back.
Yeah, and he's turning the slowest laps on the racetrack right now, 26.006 versus Jose Acosta, leader, 25.0110. Now, he is being caught by Chris Severa, who is now just almost a 10th behind him.
I'm kind of wondering when Clayton's going to put this thing in gear.
I don't know. I don't think he's showing his hand right now. I think he's just, I don't know. I mean, he's looking a little tight, to be honest with you, right now. So maybe some adjustments in that car's future. And I know if anybody's going to make successful adjustments to the race car, it would be Clayton Hoffman. I mean, he's known for he knows how to engineer a little bit and tweak on cars for sure and get the speed he needs out of them.
Kudos to the guys that are running up front here tonight. Kudos to Jose, Chris Severa, and Kenny Powell. I mean, these guys are definitely making it interesting for us, right?
100%. We do have a little bit of a battle going on, not for position though. Joey Preby side by side right now with Kendall LeBron. LeBron running on the top side. I think Joey probably wanting to get something done here to maybe catch up there to Darren Mullins to take advantage of that.
Yeah, so, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on lap traffic kind of
racing each other?
bogarting the high line, if you will?
I mean, I could see Kendall being a little frustrated already, just considering, I mean, he started off this race by getting put right into the wall and then getting hit again. So, I mean, I could see him being like, I'm going to race everybody. He might be in that kind of a headspace, but Preby's probably like, man, just let me go. But it does look like Preby does get by him. Kendall a little bit loose, some wiggles going on there.
A little loose. Big wiggles going on there for Kendall LeBron. Yeah, that's definitely, those are not the shoes you want to wear to church.
And these guys are getting in that part of the run, too, to where tires are starting to significantly wear. I mean, we're seeing really a lot of fall off. Now, I do believe 5 laps to go here in the stage.
Yeah, man, and now Chris Severa is back out front. As Jose Acosta is doing everything he can now to maintain his position, because this is that part where, it's going to get a little tricky. Because how persistent is Jose going to be? Is he just going to kind of let the next position go, or is he going to kind of get his elbows out a little bit? Because we're 4 laps to go in the stage, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and what I'm noticing too is like I'm looking at Clayton Hoffman. Something's going wrong there. He's going in the opposite direction. I thought he'd get better on the long run. Does not seem to be the case. But Jose, I mean, he still looks fast. I think that Chris has been holding back. He's usually very conservative with, when he pushes. And he just decided to pass Jose. He's like, it's time to go by and win the stage. But Jose's still sticking right there on him. I think that 42's got some speed.
Darren Mullins, the other car that seems to be trending in the wrong direction, as he is now going to be fighting for his life, is Gary Adamson. So now he'll be coming up on his high side. This is going to be the battle for 7th place, actually 6th place.
Yeah, I mean, you see Adamson definitely trying to make his way back. And this is going to be a day a lot of these guys are going to get some stage points for sure, just considering we're only at 11 car field. Of course, Randy Mullins not going to get any stage points tonight. That's going to hurt his points quite substantially.
Yep, Derek Jacobs down behind the wall. I don't know if he is actually withdrawn.
Well, he's guaranteed top 10 stage points, apparently, in all the stages. So,
and he has withdrawn from the competition as well. One to go here in the stage before this thing's official, though, Brian.
Yeah, definitely less than that as we exit turn 4 and cross the line to lap 46. And Chris Severa is going to win stage number 1. Caution flag should be coming out any time now, but because the 10th place car is down on pit road, we might have to wait for the 9th place car of Kendall LeVron. Caution should be out now, and there it is.
Once Paul Olsen crossed the line, that just did it just fine. Now, Kendall LeVron should pick up the lucky dog, as he is the only car that's going to be shown and scored 1 lap down.
I feel like we're in a Dr. Seuss book.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, that's fine, man. I like Dr. Seuss. Well, of course, what a race for these guys. Chris Severa with that stage win. Jose Acosta going to pick up some stage points, finishing 2nd. Kenny Powell 3rd. Clayton Hoffman 4th. Joey Preby 5th. Gary Adamson going to be 6th place. Darren Mullins 7th. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. Darren Mullins 6th. Gary Adamson 7th. Paul Olsen 8th. Kendall LeVron 9th. And Derek Jacobs 10th. Those are the top 10 points paying positions. We're going to take a brief step away. We'll be right back with your stage 1 winner.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with a band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so comfortable, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe we're going to be joined in the booth by Chris Severa. Chris, do you read me?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Definitely awesome performance there for you in stage number 1. Of course, a little bit of a predicament you kind of found yourself in when you were kind of avoiding some crashes there early on, but you seemed like you were very conservative there and kind of bided your time when it came to passing Jose. Was that true?
Yeah, we probably pushed a little bit harder than what we should have, but yeah, I think that we can afford to save just a little bit more than what we did, but yeah, it's just tough to pass out here. and you really just got to get to somebody's outside to really do anything. So we'll see how that comes down to in the later half of these stages. But yeah, no, it's a fun track.
Yeah, definitely a very fun track. You think you're going to feel that way when we get to lap 219?
Yeah, with probably a much more sore shoulder, but no, I think it'll be a good time.
All right, man. Well, we see the pace car lights have, I do believe, or no, they're still on. Well, I know you want to probably get back into the game and get your head right there. Who can we give a shout out to before we let you get back to it?
Yeah, just everyone on Gas and Go for putting all the laps this week, and you guys as always, appreciate you.
All right. Well, thanks, Chris, and we appreciate you always putting on a great show for us up here in the booth, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you later.
Hopefully, guys. Thanks.
That was Chris Severa, your Stage 1 winner, and what a great performance so far. He led, I do believe, 20-plus laps on the day, and definitely was a scary start to this race, though, but I think it's turning out to be a good one.
Yeah, things going on. There's a lot of moving parts in this. We got two guys coming down pit road right now. One of those is Clayton Hoffman. The other
Maybe
one looks
making
like
some adjustments, possibly.
Olsen. Not sure.
Well, they are now doubling them up. Of course, Kendall Varon has gotten his lap back. Joey Preby, I think he's going to be one to watch. That's 16. He's been slowly but surely marching his way up through the field.
Very interesting. Now I know one thing that is going to happen is going to be true, and I think this is what Clayton has done. Can I tell you what I think? My opinion.
Sure.
So I believe what Clayton has done. He's run back around. He's topped his car off, so that way at the end of this next stage break, he's not going to have to spend as much time in the pits, which is going to give him the lead for the long run. Green flag out. Chris Severa leading the field off, and away we go. Jose Acosta tucking in right behind him, and Kenny Powell tucks in the third. So it looks like we're finishing this one kind of sort of the way we started it. We're starting this was kind of the way we finished it. And here comes Joey Preby now making his way up into the top 5 for the first time tonight as well.
Yeah, Preby definitely trying to hold off Darren Mullins right now as Mullins goes to the inside, side by side as they cross the front stretch here. Kendall Levron taking advantage and moving his way up through the field, now entering the top 5 as well.
Yeah, actually, kudos to him for being able to get his car fixed, recovered, repaired, and back out and competitive. He was a lap down, got the lucky dog. Now he finds himself all the way up into the top 5 for the second time tonight. Last time we saw what happened right back on lap 3, Brian.
Look at this, pass for the lead.
Kenny Powell now coming around the outside is going to get the drive off that he needs, going to put him around Jose Acosta. And just like that, Powell now taking the lead. He will have the reins. How long do you suppose that he is going to elect to keep him as he has fought so hard to get up here, Brian?
I think he's going to keep it because I feel like Kenny, even Chris Severa, said it before the race. I kind of was chatting with those boys, and they were talking about, like you said, Kenny Powell's got the long run this week. So I think he can keep it. I mean, he's been doing race after race after race. He's gained a lot of I rating too, Big Al. He's now at 4,400 I rating. So I mean, he seems like he's got the staying power here at Iowa.
Okay, way to go. I mean, we'll be cheering him on. If anything, he is the boss after all. I kind of get paid to sing his praises. But just like that, the 54 of Randy Mullins is back into competition as well. He's got that car back out and going to be running some laps. And guess what, Brian? In 20 laps or so, he's going to boot poor Derek Jacobs out of the top 10, which means he could possibly even lose his points for this run, and he'll be out of the top 10 for the long haul tonight.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what Randy's thinking right now. I think that he's like, you know what? I bet he's talking to his dad, and he's like, get back in there, man. You have a chance to get a position and maybe get some points to salvage something. And even if there's a glimmer of hope, you got to do it. As we see Kendall LeBron up to third now.
A point's a point. These points are not easy to come by. You have to be in the top 10 to get that point. You know, there's no bonus points at the end of this thing. You don't get points for leading the most laps. So if you got an opportunity to get paid, you get paid. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, looks like the car looks like the car not handling too poorly for Randy as well. So as long as he's able to just keep that car on track and keep running some laps, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
You do see a little bit of a skew there, though. You could definitely tell there's probably some bent stuff in there.
Yeah, Kendall LeBron has now made his way up into second place as he had just got by Jose Acosta. Now looks like he's going to be setting his sights on trying to get up and challenging possibly Kenny Powell for the lead. And wow, wouldn't that be quite a story? Here you get taken out on lap 4 and you come back, battle through all of the, everything, Kevin, and go behind the wall, guys out there beating on the car, and then you battle back through this thing and come back and lead a lap. That'd be awesome, right?
Yeah, that would be a great story for sure from Kendall LeBron. And I'm sure, heck, I've seen it time or two when I've been out there racing Big Al. We've even heard it from other people. And sometimes you get damage, it makes the car better.
Yeah, absolutely. We have heard that before. Actually, from Jose Acosta the last time. Well, Clayton Hoffman now will be going around or attempting to pass the 62 with Chris Severa. Severa now falling back. This is going to be a battle for 5th place. Looks like Severa is going to elect to let Hoffman go.
Yeah, and I think we kind of had a little bit of foreshadowing when it came to Chris Severa's interview there. He kind of mentioned, he was like, I think we could stand to take it a little bit easier on this next run. And I think that's what he's doing right now. I think he's just like, I'm just going to take it easy. But then he did contradict himself in the interview, saying it is so hard to pass. So I just don't understand. It's a little contradictory.
It's not time to pass yet, though. Still lots of racing left to go in not only this segment, but in the race as a whole. So we're just going to watch these guys kind of roll around here, man. And I'm kind of liking that we're shaking up the running order. We've already had at least 5 different leaders, and we only had 11 cars to start this thing. So that's something else. We've had 4 leaders at least. I know that. I'm about to count back to make sure there's been a 5th, but I know there's been 4. Don't want to, get the stats wrong.
Yeah, for sure. But there has been quite a bit of lead changes. I know for a fact Kenny Powell led some laps here. Randy Mullins, of course, started on the pole. Chris Severa has led some laps. Jose Acosta, exactly. So that's 4, I'd say.
4. Yep. So 4 leaders thus far, but Kendall LeBron is knocking on the leader's door, if you will. That wasn't my attempt at karaoke. It's coming later, I promise you, because those of you who are familiar probably been waiting for it.
That's the only reason they're subscribed. It's just hear that.
The moment's not right yet. We got a lot of races to go.
We're gonna release the ISCA presented by ISCA Big Al karaoke album. We're gonna do an whole album.
We're gonna do the whole thing. Let's go. Go big or go home. That's what he's saying.
Oh yeah, I'm for sure. I'm all about it. We're gonna get the recording studio and everything. We're going to have you singing in there. It's going to be amazing. And I'm going to be like a DJ, and I'm going to be on the front of the track, like Brian Britt on the track.
Kendall LeBron on the hunt, man. And right now he has got his face plastered right into the rearview mirror of the 24 Kenny Powell. Doing everything he can. Looks like now he is going to be making his move on the inside. Kenny, let him go, my man. Come on. This is going to be a heck of a feel-good story. Let it tell itself. This dude got wrecked out on the first lap. Not hit once, but hit twice. And it's come back, and he actually did lead a lap. He will be scored as your 5th leader in this contest here tonight, Brian. If that don't get your blood pumping, I don't know what will.
Yeah, I agree totally. It looks like Kendall LeBron is going to get clear of Kenny Powell. Powell running in the middle lane trying to build some momentum, but not able to do so as Kendall LeBron is going to lead another lap. So I think he might be here to stay up here in the lead. And I'll tell you one thing. I know I talked a little bit to Kendall a little bit earlier, and he said something about he's been running a whole lot of fixed setup races. And you know who's really good at fixed setup races that shows up in the ISCA and beats the brakes off of these guys?
That's
what I'm saying. If the fix,
Abner.
The fix series, it seems to help these guys figure out how to drive the race car in the opens.
Indeed it does. And we've seen that. It's not my opinion anymore. We actually have clinical data. That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
We're going clinical. That's right.
We're going clinical. But just like that, look who is snuck back into the picture, ladies and gentlemen. It is none other than the 92 of Clayton Hoffman. He liked it to go back in and get a little splash and go at the end. Now he has then crept his way back up into the top 5. Now he is soon to be in the top 3 again. And then we'll just tell the story as it happens.
Taking a look through the cockpit camera, we can watch Clayton Hoffman. I mean, knowing him, he is just always smooth. This is a track that rewards finesse, and he's definitely the finesse man. I'll tell you that. I mean, he's always so deliberate on every move he makes with that steering wheel and his gas pedal and brake.
Well, every move that he makes on the racetrack, on pit road, I mean, from the time this dude unloads to the time that he puts it till he shuts it off and they push it back in the trailer, I believe all of his moves are deliberate. The practice sessions, I mean, he's a very deliberate man.
I definitely can see this top 4 starting to battle a little bit more, though. You see Jose's right there pretty close to the back of Kenny Powell and Clayton right here. So we'll see how long. Does Kendall hold on to this lead? Because I think he's got a hungry pack of animals right behind him.
Well, so let me ask you a question, because, I mean, we've got a little bit of time here, because we are still some 25 laps plus before this stage is over. You're Jose Acosta, and you got Clayton Hoffman behind you. I mean, what's your mindset like at this point? Because everybody knows who Clayton is. I mean, he's that guy. You know, everybody. You know, he's kind of like Tom Brady-ish. So within the iRacing community. So now this guy's behind you. Are you rattled? I mean, what are you thinking?
I'm rattled. I don't think Jose is.
Okay.
But the 64 of Darren Mullins, though, has entered the fray, too. I mean, he's, it's a 5-way car, or a 5-car battle right now, as you see Darren starting to show up here.
And what's interesting is Chris is just kind of slipped just slightly back out of the picture, just kind of going to sit back and kind of watch this whole thing unfold on television.
Yeah, he's got the 36 of Gary Adamson there right behind him. Of course, Joey Pruby still having that blinking issue here. But it looks like Randy Mullins really, really close to getting that position from Derek Jacobs. I do believe in the next lap or so he'll have that.
Yeah, my buddy Kenny Powell getting very, very tight there. And I'm not sure if that's exactly where he wants his car to be, but that's where his car's at right now, just from my observation. But he is pulling right up onto the back of Kendall LeVron.
I think this is about to get complicated. We know how hard it is to pass here, so if Kenny tries to pass Kendall and gets kind of stuck and his momentum kind of halts, that's going to put Jose right there in the conversation along with Clayton and the 64 of Darren Mullins. So this could get hairy very quickly.
Yeah, we're trying to got to figure out now if we're going to make a salad or a sandwich is what you're saying.
100%. Is this going to be a turkey or is this going to be a ham?
Yeah.
As the 42 closes in on the back of the 24. So you think Kenny's probably getting tight here? We'll have to wait and see if that's the case, because I mean, these guys.
Well, we're right there. We're right there in the middle of that run. You know, there's about 30 laps. So yeah, I think this will be the time where the car is kind of in the process of shifting itself on the table, if you will. That's 100%. Just my opinion, though. Don't listen to me.
Here comes the 64. He's going to try to go to the top side and maybe try to get by the 92. He gets a good run up to the back bumper of Clayton Hoffman. Hoffman started falling back off of Jose Acosta here. I kind of still feel like something needs to be changed with Clayton. I feel like in that first run, he started falling back, and I think this might be the start of that right now.
All right, Randy has run just enough laps to put himself ahead of Derek Jacobs, and now he's going to bring her on back down pit road. And I don't know. I think Mr. Hoffman's just taking his time. We still got, some 20 laps to go in this stage before it's actually in the books. Plenty of time for racing. Do you actually go out there and run harder than you want to just because somebody's behind you? Or do you kind of stick to the script?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's a very good question. I'm not sure what the right answer would be. I mean, you got Kendall up in here in the lead. If he's able to hold on to it, it'll work out for him. I mean, does Clayton have enough time to get up there to the lead?
Does he need to, though? Is Clayton even running for stage points?
I don't think he's running for points. I think you're right. That could be something there. As Kenny closes in really close to the back of the 28. Kendall goes really high, gets a good run off of 4.
And so if Clayton's not running for points, there, like, stage points won't really matter. So therefore, I don't think he's really going to care about being in the top 3. I think his play is he's going to get in and out of pit road as fast as possible so he can come out and lead this thing for the long haul.
Yeah, I think you're on the money, man. I think that's exactly what the case is here. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, and you, like you said, he did that pit call. That's genius that you even caught that. You know, coming back down pit road to put a little bit more gas in tank so he doesn't have to spend as much time on pit road when the yellow flag stops happen.
Yeah, seconds matter, brother. Seconds
and here
matter.
comes Kenny Powell trying to challenge back for the lead here. I think he's going to take it. He's going to slide up. Kendall gets a little bit loose on the top side. Looks like Kenny is going to take the lead back.
And now the question is, we've seen at that point just how hard Kendall's going to drive this thing to preserve. He is not done yet, but we also seen he's going to get squirrely, which is just going to – I'm excited to see what's going to happen when Jose comes into the fray, because right now we're 15 laps until we can get this stage done, and these dudes are on one.
Oh, they're definitely fighting hard right now as Kendall trying his best to see if he can't get this lead back. I mean, but I did say – Kenny Powell seems like he's got a heck of a long-run car underneath him, and it's definitely showing right now because, I mean, he got passed by Kendall. Probably everybody probably were writing him off a little bit there, but takes the lead right back and goes right back to business.
Yeah, I don't think he was ready to drive that fast yet, you know, and that's the key. That's what I think that's the mark of a champion, and Powell is a past champion, but you don't get pushed to drive faster and harder than you're ready to go. I mean, you run your own pace and you run your own race. That's how I think you become a champion.
100%. Side by side, though, is Jose Acosta battling with the 28 of Kendall LeBron.
And we know that LeBron is definitely he is poised to fight, poised to strike. So I think he's going to stay out there as long as he can. And we know how strong Jose Acosta's will can be as well. So this might just turn out to be a pretty interesting story that's unfolding right here in front of our eyes, Brian.
Yeah, for sure. And this is doing nothing but good for Kenny Powell right now. He's kind of managing to take a drive away and breathe a little bit because he doesn't have to worry about the 42 at this moment. But I think it looks like Jose does get the pass completed on the 28 of Kendall LeBron, so that's going to put Jose into second place.
But, Kendall did show just how hard he was prepared to drive to defend his position, and that's exactly what he did. So, I mean, kudos on him. I don't think anybody else is going to come up here and contest him for the remainder of this stage. But if should the time happen or the event occur, yeah, I think we already know where he stands.
Well, here comes Chris Severa. He's going to be passing Darren Mullins on the inside. Of course, Chris has been pretty much saving his tires. We'll have to wait and see how this kind of works out. I do believe 10 laps to go here in the stage. No problems for Kendall LeBron.
And I knew
he spins around, hits the inside wall.
That's not going to do him any favors, as a matter of fact. Now, he still doesn't have a meatball flag just yet. Which
he
means
did take a toe, though.
I think he took the toe out of frustration. And that's really going to change the story for him a little bit. Now, Randy might actually have to come back in. Might be able to best his position.
This is interesting. I think he could have saved this.
Well, there's when it whipped back from him. And at that point, I think it's just frustration.
Yeah, just unfortunate there for sure. No caution going to come out for that either.
And LeBron is manually disconnected, which means he's gonna leave his dreams in the infield there tonight. Very unfortunate.
And what a story that would have been to see him get a good finish, and after such a such a bumpy start to this race.
Yeah, But like I said, he showed you how hard he was prepared to drive that car to maintain his position, right?
100%. Look at this. We weren't live there for a second, but we are live now. Chris Severa has taken the lead, or taken the third place spot from Clayton Hoffman here. He's coming.
I think Clayton's just chilling. I don't think he is trying to get in the top 3. I think he just wants to finish 4th here in this stage and run the rest of his race because he doesn't care about stage points. And those top 3 those are some big points there, Brian.
Well, I mean, looking at even Clayton Hoffman's lap times, I mean, 55.649 last time by versus Chris Severa, 25.084. That is a half a second right there. And the same, it could be said for Kenny Powell. I mean, he's 25.5 or 2 versus Clayton Hoffman. I mean, he is well off the pace right now, but I'll tell you who's not off the pace is Chris Severa. He is coming for, I think, Jose Acosta. Acosta's starting to fall off a little bit, 2/10 off of Kenny Powell's pace.
Yeah, he was at 25.438, but I don't know. There's only 5 laps to go in this stage, and it's hard to pass. I think it's just too little too late there, except for just trying to get on the podium. I think we end this thing, I think, where everybody's at, and you just hold on for that third and final segment, Brian.
And that's going to be a long one. I mean, you got to think only 100 laps into this race almost, and we still have 120 something to go. I mean, this is it's almost, we're barely even halfway. We're not halfway yet. We'll get there very soon, but these guys got a long stage ahead of them in the next stage. I mean, these guys got to start worrying about green flag pit stops. They got to start worrying about doing the longest run that they've had to do all race long.
What? What do you mean?
Well, no, I'm just saying they're going to have to do more laps on one set of tires.
Not time to be worried about that crap now. It's too late. It's go time, baby. I mean, it's time to execute. The planning and preparation for that's already been done. As Joey Preby now did make it by Clayton Hoffman. That's going to put Preby all the way up into 4th place as Hoffman falls back to P5.
Yeah, good move there for Joey Preby, able to drive his way up into the 4th place position. Glad to see that. He's got a lot of speed in that 16, and it's got to feel good when we're able to pass the 92.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, man, I'm with you. I was just kind of, joking around on the point, but yeah, it's definitely time to execute. So these guys, they've been practicing all week. This is race time.
Yeah, it's time to show. I mean, we talking about practice?
Practice? Talking about practice? No.
Not the game. Practice. Kenny Powell, you talk about practice. He's up into 1st right now, and I do believe caution should be coming out here anytime, but Kenny Powell has earned stage 2. Nice job there for that 24. Chris Severa getting really loose behind Kenny Powell, or behind Jose Acosta.
Be waiting on Paul Osen to cross the line here, and I do believe that's when that flag's going to fly. But that's going to put stage 2 in the books.
And that actually, he completed an extra lap there.
Yeah, so Kenny Powell is going to be your stage 2 winner with Jose Acosta coming in 2nd. Chris Severa in 3rd. Joey Preby 4th. Clayton Hoffman 5th. Darren Mullins 6th. Gary Adamson going to be in 7th. Paul Osen in 8th. Kendall LeBron and Randy Mullins not on the racetrack, but they're going to be running out the top 10 points paying positions with stage 2 in the books. Let's go take a quick step away, get a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
There are only a few corn rootworm traits widely available, and many brands use the same ones. So switching brands for corn rootworm needs may have little impact when it comes to traits protecting your fields. There are 2 main types of BT proteins, Cry3 and Cry3435. Because most corn rootworm products include 2 modes of action, there is typically at least 1 trait from each of these protein families in a product. Cry3435 traits carry the heaviest weight when it comes to protecting against corn rootworm today. The 2 Cry3435 events out there are the Herculex Extra trait and the event DP4114 found in Pioneer brand Chrome products. Pioneer helped develop both of these traits. Since seed brands all share BT trait technologies, the bigger performance difference comes from the corn genetics. They determine traits like yield potential, root strength, and disease tolerance to yield-robbing diseases like tar spot. Pioneer corn hybrids are 100% exclusive. Nope, you won't find them in another bag, and come from the germplasm we've been building for more than 100 years. We're the only corn brand that can say that.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and I do believe we're going to be joined in the booth by our Stage 2 winner, Kenny Powell. Big Al is standing by.
Hey, Kenny Powell, Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
I got you.
Congratulations, bud, for bringing it home there in Stage 2. This field is kind of thinning out a lot, man. It's almost like jelly on a cracker. What are your plans here, though?
I mean, for the race, I'm happy with the car. Feels good. Happy with that stage, but can't let my guard down because Jose, no slouch. You got Severa back there, and
you got some
I'm
sharp
sure what
there.
Hoffman's doing back there, but you can't ever count that man out.
Yeah. So how's your car set up for? You feeling better on the longer runs here? Is this third segment going to work out more to your favor, you think, than the first two, or what are we thinking?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I was able to pull back away from Kendall and Jose towards the end. I think Chris was catching me, but I think he was in super save mode. So we'll have to see how that plays out in the end.
Yeah, tires and fuel.
Absolutely, we're going to get tires and fuel.
I mean,
tires, this stage.
Tires or fuel, which one's more important thus far?
Oh, absolutely, tires.
Tires.
You gotta be good to those tires.
Okay, hey, appreciate your time. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you at the end of this thing, man. Before we let you go, though, who are you going to be shouting out for us here tonight?
My team, G&G, everybody that races in the ISCA, great group of guys, great racing, and you guys up in the booth. I appreciate you.
I guess we got just time for one more question. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize we had an additional lap there. Kind of caught myself off guard, but I do have one more quick question for you.
Okay.
How many laps you think you got put down this week on this track, perfecting your setup so you can actually come in here? Because you're putting on a clinic if you don't know that.
I probably got 300 laps a night. And so what night are we on? Night 6. So whatever that is, 1,800 laps.
1,800. That's awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know the recipe for success, those are the ingredients. Thank you for your time, Mr. Powell, and we'll talk to you at the end of this thing, hopefully.
10-4.
You love that. The recipe for success is 1,800 laps. Apparently, that's the recipe. You have to have just that.
That's an ingredient, though, is what I said.
Yeah, that's an ingredient for sure. Big one.
If you want the recipe, one of the ingredients is going to be a whole bunch of laps.
100%. I mean, I do believe even right before this race here, he was out there in the A Open. So, I mean, he's been running a lot of Iowa this week, I'll tell you that. And it shows. It's showing.
If there's one thing that we could say about Kenny Powell is that Kenny is committed. This man is committed to putting in the time to master his craft, and that is awesome. Lights off on the pace car, though. We will be getting ready to kick this party off again. And Kenny Powell is your leader here. Clayton Hoffman did duck back down on pit road again, Brian. So not sure what's going on. I think he's baking us a cake, though.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Like Kenny said, you can never really kind of can't count him out. But look at Chris Severa here, bump drafting Kenny Powell into the corner. Definitely trying to send him in there a little bit faster than he wants to go. But Kenny's like, hey, that's just fast enough for me. As you see Jose Acosta kind of doing the same to now Chris Severa.
And now Randy smells blood in the water. So now he is back in the car again. Going to be trying to best Kendall LeBron just to move himself on that totem pole yet another notch.
Well, why not? Get some more points. I mean,
you gotta love an opportunist.
Yeah, I mean, glad to see that he's willing to do whatever he has to do to get some more points.
And speaking of opportunity, Kenny Powell wasting not one as he is rolling away, man. He's got that Camry in the good air. Sorry that I stuttered there, but I was watching the 16 of Joey Preben. Guess what he was doing?
Blanking.
Oh no! How'd you get it? Somebody tell you?
I mean, it's just happened quite a bit in the last recent memory. Look at that, Chris Severa having a little bit of a moment there as the 64 of Darren Mullins is going to try to take advantage and enter the top 3. Nice run there for the 64. Joey Prevey going to try to do the same now.
As we're halfway through.
Prevey,
there it is. Prevey doing exactly what he did right there, trying to make it up into the top 5, and it caused a little bit of confusion. And there it did.
Blinking, yeah.
Darren,
Clayton probably didn't know what to do there.
Yeah, Darren. I think Darren kind of got caught up by it last week, and then he almost got caught up by it again this week. And at that point, you got to start to think it's personal.
Yeah, it looks like Prevey, though, gives the position to Clayton Hoffman. He's going to move up into 5th. But Kenny Powell now out to 9/10 of a second of a lead here. But I think Kenny mentioned Jose. I think that he knows that Jose's fast, but I'll tell you what, Jose's getting pressure right now from the 64 of Darren Mullen.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think Kenny he's kind of got it put in. He's going to run his own race because the one thing is, if Mullins does get to Jose Acosta, Darren has got to get around Jose. Jose, with fresh tires, with tires being this early, the best thing I think would be for those two to get together because neither one of the two will yield.
Yeah, that's definitely true. They are steadfast in trying to protect their position. Of course, we crossed the halfway point here as the 64 trying to get around the 42, but you see the 92 coming up here into the picture. And Jose's starting to catch Kenny Powell. I think Powell's realizing, hey, I got out to too far of a lead. I'm trying to back it down a little bit.
Well, you gotta keep the carrot close. If you really want them to burn their tires down, you really gotta kind of keep backing it up to them a little bit.
Yeah, to make them think that they're faster than you, so they'll push a little harder. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, there's a method to this madness.
100%. Look on board here with Clayton Hoffman, the best view in the house for the battle for the 2nd position. Just absolutely love this racetrack. Heck, I might do a race here after this race. I don't know.
Yeah, you may as well.
May as well, because I've done watched some of the greats do it here. I think I can learn a thing or two by watching these guys. Just look at the run that Clayton Hoffman gets off of turn 4, now going side by side with the 64.
Well, that's because the 64 was kind of trending in the wrong direction again. I think his car was kind of that compass was searching for direction, and it just allowed Powell to go ahead. Hoffman to get around him. I don't know why I got the association between Powell and Hoffman.
Clayton Powell, Kenny Hoffman.
No, it's Kenny Powell, Clayton Hoffman.
Well, here comes Clayton Hoffman to the inside of Jose, and Jose taking a pretty easy kind of decision there, deciding he's just going to give Clayton the position. What a smart move there for Jose.
Yeah, he's showing.
I think Abner's driving the race car tonight.
That's so much. That's a lot of maturity is what that is right now. It's Clayton Hoffman. I mean, come on. What are you going to do?
And we did talk about that on Thursday to some extent about we'd love to see Clayton and Abner go at it. I'd like to see that battle. I think it would be a phenomenal fight.
And we've been sitting here trying to figure out his strategy, and I think he is just now taking the lead.
He just put the cards down. He's like, hey, guys, this whole time I've had a royal flush. Didn't tell nobody.
He's our 6th leader of the night, and he won't spare them. He will not kind of lay back and let them suck in. He's just going to put the hammer down, I'm afraid.
100%. But you see Darren Mullins having a little bit of a resurgence here as he catches up to the back of Jose Acosta. I'm still a bit worried. I don't know. So you think that whole thing with Clayton, the way he was kind of hanging back in the first 2 stages, you think that was on purpose to maybe lull these guys into a false sense of security?
It's Clayton Hoffman, dude. I mean, you catch Clayton Hoffman on the side of the road, right? You pick him up, you take him home, you nurse him back to health, and then he bites you, and you're like, ah! He's like, you know, that was Clayton Hoffman. I mean, like, what are you thinking about? Like, these guys are feeling good. Like, Mom, tune in. I'm beating Clayton Hoffman. His mom's like, that's Clayton Hoffman. No.
You're not going to beat him for long. Yeah.
Yes, it's like, yeah, I slapped
Mom,
Mike Tyson.
Mom, I led 100 laps. Did you win?
Yeah.
No, Clayton Hoffman came up and won.
No.
And here comes, we're seeing a big battle here between Chris Severa and Joey Preby. I think Chris is definitely doing exactly what he did in the first or second stage, I should say. He's backing it down. He's like, I'm going to show up later. Y'all just wait on me. I'll be there.
But here's what I'm going to say about this, and I'm probably going to get, well, no, I'm not going to get anything. I'm just, because here's the facts. Do you have a friend that has a drinking problem? You know, that one person that you can never invite anywhere to go out to just do fun stuff because they're going to show up and they're just going to, you know, it's just going to turn into crap, right? Well, Preby has a blinking problem, and it's the same thing but worse.
Man, I'll tell you what, they're racing very close right now as Preby dives on the inside of Chris Severa. I think Chris Severa he was like, I got to get out of this, otherwise this guy's going to hit me. Very close. He's been solid, though. I'd say Preby's been solid the last few laps.
Yeah. I mean, even if you, never mind. I'm not going to make that analogy because it cuts too close to home. But yeah, you just can't trust a person that blinks. That's all I'm saying about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a scary situation for sure when you have that blinking issue, and it could be so frustrating. There he goes, starts blinking right there.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like when you think you can count and depend on him.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, and that does. I think I get exactly what you're saying. When you're racing around someone that's blinking, it's like you can't never trust when you can actually try to race them if they're blinking heavily like that.
So if you're watching this, man, and you got a loved one that's blinking, just talk to him, man.
Heck yeah, well, call 1-800-BLINKING, and we have dedicated therapists.
Just reach out to him, man. Don't let your friends blink.
Clayton Hoffman, though, has left, essentially. 2 seconds is his lead right now on Kenny Powell.
Well, that's the reason why the building's named after him.
Man, I didn't know this was Hoffman Speedway. Heck yeah.
Well, I said the building, not the speedway.
We got the Hoffman Hall of Fame here.
It might be a snack shack, but it's still named after him. Well, it will be tonight. How about that?
Well, he's coming up on some lap traffic. Of course, Randy Mullins, who had came back on the track to get Kendall Lavron's spot, is now going to be a little bit of an obstacle here for Clayton Hoffman. But I think Randy's probably going to know better and just get out of the way, just like he just did.
Well, he's just using it as a photo op at this point.
But Kenny Powell has started catching up to Clayton, and I think Clayton lost a little bit of speed there. Maybe he's burned his stuff up pulling away like he's doing. I mean, I never would have say that. Like, I can't imagine saying that, but it might be true here. I mean, Kenny's starting to catch him, and I think Kenny knows exactly what he's doing here tonight. We talked about it. He's turned 1,800 laps. I mean, this man knows this track like it's the back of his hand right now. And you got Jose, who's been real fast all night. I mean, I believe Clayton, usually when you give him the lead, it's so hard to get it back. But, I mean, we've seen chinks in his armor, though. I mean, we saw Mark Pageant steal a championship from him. You know what I mean, Big Al? I mean, in the Super Cup Series. So we know that Clayton can make mistakes. Clayton can be off some nights. It's a rare, really rare occurrence, but it can happen.
But if we were to just... We have to talk about him like he is like, you know, Superman, because that way, if these guys do beat him, it just makes it so much greater.
100%. Yeah, Mom, I beat Clayton Hoffman.
You understand?
We just said, yeah.
And we're kind of like, we're really painting with both sides of the brush, you know?
Sure.
Dang. Did I just say that? Painting with both sides of the brush. Go Big Al. I don't know where I come up with this shit.
Tell you what, I've been very also impressed with the 36. He's been sticking quite close to Chris Severa, but I think Chris Severa is starting to hit the go switch. I mean, look at this. I don't understand why Chris is falling back so much. And stage number 2, he did not fall back near as much as he is here. I mean, he's like 10 seconds back from the leader. And even, you know, this is not... I don't see you making up that 10 seconds. I mean, we saw it in stage 2.
Really?
He was able to get up to third. Is he going to be able to get further up? I don't know. I mean, I just don't. This doesn't see. He looks like he's way too far back right now. I think he's experimenting with trying to save more, but I just don't know if it's going to pay off. We'll have to wait and see.
He's not that much slower than anybody. I mean, as a matter of fact, I think he's faster than a lot of people.
Well, yeah, he is, but I'm just saying that it's 10 seconds. I mean, it's a lot.
How do you eat an elephant?
I mean, 10 seconds is almost half a lap here at Iowa.
Man, I don't. And I'm just saying, you still got green flag pit stops. You got a lot of variables, man. There's a lot
true.
of ways.
That's very true. Yeah, I mean, if he's able to be successful on pit road, I'll tell you, he's making up time, though. Kenny Powell. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about this guy. He has caught Clayton Hoffman almost. He's a second back now.
And here's the question, too. When is Severa even planning on pitting? Maybe he's poised on running, 100 laps out of the thing.
That's true. I mean, the fuel window is 100 laps, but these guys went green on lap 104 or 105, which makes there's no way you can save 15 laps.
Well, no, I'm not saying save. I'm just saying that, so that will put him in an advantage if he can run consistent laps for a long period of time. He'll actually be able to run faster for the short run.
Maybe. I mean, he could be on some type of math, big brain stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, the longer he stays out, the faster he'll be able to go for a shorter period of time.
We're definitely getting well and true into this race, though. 138 laps in, and Kenny Powell now a half a second behind Clayton Hoffman here. Hoffman's looking a little tight, and I think that's what he's been looking at a lot of the race. He looks tight, Big Al. I mean, do you think he's maybe toying the carrot here, or is Kenny actually running him down?
Kenny's running him down.
I mean, look at this. Look at the closing rate that Kenny has in the center of the corner. And I think that's what's huge about this track that you want. Look at that. Clayton is tight. Clayton's tight right now. He is definitely having handling condition.
Yeah.
And look at that. Kenny Powell back into the lead.
But this is always when Kenny's car seemed to come alive, because remember I was saying that he was tight in the last segment, but then once he got 30 laps, his car was good to go.
Yeah, I know. And I know Kenny tinkered around with his setup quite a bit this week, too. I mean, he definitely put a lot of work into it to make sure it was perfect for his driving style. And he's had that 1,800 laps, I mean, and counting right now. And he's definitely making it work for him. Like you said, he's strong in the long run. I have a good feeling about it. I mean, I've heard people say that, he's really good in the long run. And that's not usually something you say about Kenny Powell. Consider he's not the worst defender when it comes to burning up tires, but he's one of them.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm just saying, you've seen him burn them up. We've seen it before. Jose Acosta's gotten by Clayton Hoffman, so don't count out that 42. Wouldn't be surprised if Abner gave him a few tips about this racetrack.
He's been running his own and holding his own as well. So, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Abner, but, I mean, I'm just giving a lot of credit to Jose because, like I said, when Jose came into this league, I mean, he started out as a winner. I mean, I think he won his first 2 races. Abner won his first 3, so that's still pretty dang good.
Yeah, it is very much so.
Yeah.
Now 40 laps into the run, though, I mean, Chris Severa's car is starting to come alive. He's starting to run down these leaders now.
Can't help to think that wasn't part of
the plan. I think so. And I think you were right. I mean, you were kind of like, you don't think you can make up 10 seconds? I think he might be able to. He's just got to be really consistently a lot faster than these guys.
And these guys got to be spot on tonight when it comes time to pit, when they get ready to make those green flag pit stops.
And even Gary Adamson, I mean, he's been sticking right there with Severa, too. I think he's been saving. I think he's been watching the master at work and saving it and trying to do exactly what Severa does.
Well, 75 laps to go, so you definitely think guys are starting to have that pit strategy starting to shape up in their mind. They're starting to kind of get an idea of when it is that they're going to be taking a break.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be probably in the next 20 or so laps. I mean, I think on Thursday we saw a lot of guys go down in lap 60 to 1 or 160 to 170. Somewhere in there was when we saw a lot of guys go down. So I think in the next 20 or so laps, we're definitely going to start to see that kind of start to shape up. And maybe even some guys try to short pit it. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, I think we're going to see a little bit of everything here tonight, Bubba.
100%. Chris Severa has caught up to Darren Mullins. Getting a good run on the exit of 4. Going to try to take that momentum and get by Mullins on the inside into 1 and 2. And he gets him cleared. Masterful pass there from Chris Severa as he is running down now even Joey Preby. So he's going to be working his way up into the 4th place position here. Kenny Powell starting to pull away from Jose Acosta as well. He's got about a 7/10 lead on Jose.
Yep, now Powell is just where he wants to be. I mean, he can see this now starting to shape up in his mind.
Yeah, I think he's seeing this as like, this could be a good race for me here tonight.
Well, yeah, it has been a good race for him, and that's kind of what I was asking him, the important thing. So now we know that he's not really caring about fuel. He's caring more about tires. So I think that's going to tell us what his strategy is going to be. Which I believe he's going to go to the fat side of the halfway. Does that make sense? 70 laps ago, 46 laps on their equipment. I definitely think he goes more than half of the Delta.
Yeah, I can see that. Trying to have newer tires late for sure. Yeah, 150 laps in now.
That's my guess for Paul.
And Kenny Powell now out to over a second on Jose Acosta. The gaps are definitely pretty large here in the pack. Kenny Powell, of course, in the lead with that over a second gap on Jose. Clayton Hoffman, 2.5 back from Kenny Powell. Joey Preby about 7.6 back from Kenny Powell. And Chris Severa, he's catching Joey Preby very quickly.
And I think Jose knows exactly how fast his car is. And what I mean when I say that is he understands at this point exactly how many laps he is going to be faster than Powell. And I think that he has a pit to that strength. I don't think he does it any other way if he wants to have a shot at this. He's got to know, hey, we got a fast setup with this many laps. The 43 Paul Olsen now down on pit road. 68 laps to go. I think he has just turned it into a 2-stop race here for him, Brian.
Now, he'll have enough gas to make it to the end, but yeah, and he's very slow on the inside of pit road here, so it doesn't look like he's doing a competitive pit stop. And he will fall a lap down. He's going to be taking tires here. Good race, though, for Paul. I wish he maybe had been a little bit better on his entry into pit road because he seemed real slow rolling on the bottom there. Not a competitive pit stop in the slightest. And Kenny Powell, I do believe, coming up here on Randy Mullins here. So a little bit of lamp traffic going to be coming into play. It looks like Randy going to stay out of the way. Glad to see that. Randy's been very respectful here. I know he's had a little bit of a tragic race, kind of doomed from the start, if you will. Started on the pole and wrecked on lap, I do believe, 1 or 2. I mean, it was very early. Of course, kind of took Kendall Avron with him, but unfortunately, Kendall had some other issues as well. But, man, it's turned out to be a really good race. A lot of these guys have definitely tackled the gauntlet here, considering just how much mental focus and and physical endurance this race has got to be having on these guys. I mean, we talked to Chris Severa a little earlier. He talked about how sore his shoulder's going to be here tonight. I think a lot of these guys are going to be echoing the same sentiment.
I think Paul Olsen stayed out just long enough to make it so that Randy Mullins cannot surpass him and jump up into 8th place. But Paul Olsen is done for the evening.
And that is unfortunate. I hate that he gave up on it, just considering, I mean, yeah, he's going to finish 8th, but other things could have happened, and he had good short-run pace that if something happens late, like a caution or something like that, he could have had a even better finish. But 8th is definitely a solid place to call it. But I think I'd stay out there, though.
Yeah, but if you're not trying to... Shut up, Al. Whatever. if you're not trying to specifically, it's those ingredients, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if the car's not handling, oh, Chris Severa into the wall a little bit. I think he was kind of
That wasn't
recoiling.
his fault.
I think he was
Yeah.
recoiling a little bit off of the 16 there as he is
You think?
blinking in front of him. So Chris probably, heart rate probably going up quite a bit here as he catches up to the 16.
Yeah, that was one of those moments.
He is looking to try to take that fourth place position away. And the next one that he'd be looking to get is Clayton Hoffman, who's about 4 seconds ahead of this. Kenny Powell now 1.7 seconds out in front. Kenny probably really happy with how his car is running right now. Green flag pit stops are going to be happening very soon. As you see Randy Mullins getting passed there by Preby and Chris Severa. And Mullins has about 8 laps until he will take Kendall LeVron's position.
Clayton Hoffman pit road.
Green flag pit stops taking place here. Clayton Hoffman pitting from 3rd place.
Yeah, you called that one dead on the head right there.
Now, he of course, is just one car. Let's see when the rest of these guys decide to come down. Looks like Kenny Powell going to be staying out another lap.
Well, obviously he is not. I mean, he's not swaying the hand of too many. No takers. 36 of Gary Adamson's going to come down pit road.
Yep, definitely is. And, definitely starting to kick off a little bit here. Probably a pretty good time.
Yeah, all I was saying about the whole, the lap thing is you got to put in thousands of laps if you want to get better. That's all I would.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree totally. Like, keep at it. Keep racing around here. It's practice that you could have. Even though it's not, you might not get the best finish that you want, but, you get better and you have more laps and but then again, perfect practice makes perfect. Yes, even though everybody says practice makes perfect, but you have to make sure that you're practicing the right things.
Yeah, you quoted General Petraeus. That's exactly what he said. He would say that all the time, and it made total sense. Perfect practice, perfect.
Tell you what a story it would be, though, if Chris Severa is able to get his way up into the lead here after all the way back in 10 seconds back. He's now only 6 seconds back from Kenny Powell, so he's got a chance here if he's able to keep running as good as he is. But I think this next stage, Chris is going to not be holding back as much because I feel like he can see that this didn't necessarily work. Because this green flag pit stop time, if it was supposed to work, he would already be in the lead. So I think he's going to be changing his changing his tune a little bit in this next segment after green flag pit stops.
Yep, Joey Preby has come down pit road. Clayton Hoffman, I believe he is out of the car and actually ended his participation in the night's event.
Unfortunate to see that. Not sure what's going on there. I might spur Paul Holson to get back in the car. And here comes Kenny Powell. He's going to be bringing it down pit road. Oh, he slides it a little bit, but he's able to keep it together. Looks like Jose going to stay out. Maybe lead some laps here. Some more laps, I should say.
Looks like Randy has smoked a motor.
And a lot of times, oh no, really?
Yep. Well, I don't know what he did, but he's got that big old need repairs required flag been thrown at him. I just figured he had smoked a motor. I don't know what he did.
Yeah, not sure here. Trying to take a look.
Might inside the car. Maybe you can see something.
So he's got engine pressure here. He was definitely not turning any very good laps. So car still probably hurt from that encounter earlier in the race. Taking a look through his cockpit camera to check the RPMs. Yeah.
Yeah. He's already down right here.
And I hear a sound here. I think possibly he might have. I think it's a tire issue he's having here. I mean, you know, when you have contact like he did earlier.
At that point, he's got the required repair flag. So, yeah, it must have been something underneath the car with the chassis.
I think it's the tire. I really think that's what it is. Because, I mean, you got to think when you have an accident like that earlier, he probably bent the toe a little bit, and that causes the tire to wear. Yeah, it looks like he does.
He's got to fix it back on the road again.
It must have been just a little. I think it was a tire issue, Big Al. I really do. I think that the toe was knocked out in such a way, or he was driving it in such a way that caused that car to, you know, wear a certain tire out more. And I think he blew a tire. And that happens when you get that tire down to 0%. You know, I think that's what happened. Because, I mean, he was able to fix it quickly. I know I'm probably assuming and maybe conspiracy theorying a little bit, but I think that's what it was.
Well, it's on us to try to connect the dots, or at least to put the dots out there.
I'd be curious to talk to him, at some point, maybe after the race, about that, maybe after the broadcast, and just figure out what. I'm really curious if that was what it was, because that's what I think it was. But Jose Acosta in the lead right now. Chris Rivera is catching him very quickly right now. 1.5 only back there, so Chris is verging on taking the lead here, but I'm wondering when these guys are going to pit. I mean, they're going to have to pit very soon. They're 173 right now.
They're only 69 laps, 70 laps on their equipment.
But they have a lot less than that to go here. So I think they're long pitting. They're going a longer distance. So I guess when they do come in, they can push it a little harder in that last run.
Did somebody predict that?
Might have been you, probably.
What? Okay. I knew it sounded familiar.
Well, now only 3 drivers are on the lead lap. Jose Acosta, Chris Rivera, and Darren Mullins. Kenny Powell, of course, leading the lap down camp.
And now there's Powell going around Rivera.
Yeah, Powell's going to be taking his lap back very soon here.
But, yeah, I like the strategy. I think, you just you roll with what you got.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that kind of works out. And I think even Chris Rivera was testing that out in the first stage. Because, I mean, the first stage, he showed a lot of short run pace and he won the stage.
And here he is again. Now he's down pit road. There's only 44 laps to go. That's the same length of the first stage.
Yeah, and I think that was the experiment. Both stages were essentially an experiment. Like, hey, I'll run one stage one way and another stage another way, and I'll put them into practice in that final stage. Wow. That's big brain stuff right there, I'll tell you.
And here comes Jose Acosta. Looks like he's doing the same. And like I said, Jose is got to get the analogy right on this one. He is like we have the Korean drink is soju. He is like soju. Like no matter, you could mix him with anything.
Well, now Darren Mullins is the leader, but he's having some major handling issues. How long will he be the leader? Kenny Powell, I do believe, going to get there.
He's got 73 laps on his equipment, so I think he's just holding on. And, ooh, that might cost him.
Yeah, he had to get on the brakes really hard there. You could tell his tires are burnt slap up right now.
Well, he's good to go. Does not look like he's going to get his hands smacked.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, luckily he's going to be able to put a new pair of shoes on that bad boy. And Kenny Powell, of course, now back up into the lead.
And here comes, speaking of new pairs of shoes, man, this thing is playing out here pretty funky like. Rivera and Jose Acosta back underway now. They're going to be putting the hammer down, and they're really going to be letting it hang out, Brian.
They got a rough one here. Look at that, though. Chris Rivera able to gain a lot of time on Jose Acosta in that whole green flag sequence. He's able to jump him on pit road and move himself up into now the 4th place position. Now, of course, Gary Adamson is about 4.5 seconds out in front of Chris Rivera. But right Kenny Powell is 14, almost 15 seconds in front of Rivera. So I think, I don't know. We'll have to see if this strategy works, but they better be pushing it really hard. I think that Chris Rivera and Jose are going to be driving their cars really hard.
I think they are, and I think they know just how hard they can drive them. And that's good information to have, especially for them at this stage in the contest. I mean, and they got to do that. I mean, that is the only way this works is if they put the hammer down, drive the tires off of these things all the way to the end of it.
Well, what an awesome performance from this 24 here. Wow. I think while we got a little bit of a break in the moment here, let's take some steps away. I know we haven't had a lot of time to really show some attention to our sponsors. What do you think, Big Al?
Yeah. I was just going to say one thing before we did take the break, though. The difference between these two is Severa and Acosta have to get through lap traffic, where Powell only has to continue doing what he's doing.
Yeah, 100%. But we'll go ahead and take that step away. We'll be right back, give our voices a little bit of a rest.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
There are only a few corn rootworm traits widely available, and many brands use the same ones. So switching brands for corn rootworm needs may have little impact when it comes to traits protecting your fields. There are two main types of BT proteins, Cry3 and Cry3435. Because most corn rootworm products include two modes of action, there is typically at least one trait from each of these protein families in a product. Cry3435 traits carry the heaviest weight when it comes to protecting against corn rootworm today. The two Cry3435 events out there are the Herculex Extra trait and the event DP4114 found in Pioneer brand Chrome products. Pioneer helped develop both of these traits. Since seed brands all share BT trait technologies, the bigger performance difference comes from the corn genetics. They determine traits like yield potential, root strength, and disease tolerance to yield-robbing diseases like tar spot. Pioneer corn hybrids are 100% exclusive. Nope, you won't find them in another bag, and come from the germplasm we've been building for more than 100 years. We're the only corn brand that can say that.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate y'all giving us that little bit of a moment of respite and also being able to show some of our awesome sponsors we have here with the ISCA. Kenny Powell, of course, still in the lead. Joey Preby, I do believe, on the verge of getting passed here soon, as we do see, I do believe, Gary Adamson actually getting passed by Jose Acosta, who has gotten by Chris Severa. So Jose is on the march, and he is flying. Last time we looked at these guys, they had about a 16-second gap to Kenny Powell, now only 11 seconds. So they have been eating up time, Big Al.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see Severa getting by Gary Adamson as well. That's going to relegate that 36 back into the 5th place position. Well, Adamson, though, strong finish tonight. I mean, Darren Mullins, of course, being a lap down from staying out for so long. I think Adamson might have a top 5 here for himself tonight. Awesome performance. What an awesome performance Kenny Powell has put on here. We're now 192 laps into this thing. And the clock is just, it keeps on ticking as we are ticking down laps here. And I don't know. I have a feeling this Kenny Powell's not lucky day, because you can't luck into a win at Iowa. I think it's Kenny Powell's, he deserves a trophy. He's been doing awesome here tonight.
Give him a trophy.
Joey Preby, though, going to be trying to desperately to hold on to the second place position, but Jose Acosta is coming.
And, you know, I do believe what's going to happen is once Preby gets more people around him, his internet's going to get a little shaky.
That's what it is. It's a proximity thing.
Yeah, it's my prediction. And that's going to cause that's going to be a part of the conversation. This is me just kind of broadcasting or foreshadowing.
100%. But look at the speed right now that Jose is carrying. 24.3. He was the fastest car on the track by multiple tenths, except for Darren Mullins, of course, who did pit a little bit earlier than him. But Jose is definitely, he's looking like he's going to capitalize here on these fresh tires. And Chris still seems like he's saving. I mean, he was very much slower than Jose, which I thought that, you know, in this final stage, that whole strategy kind of hinged on, you know, kind of having that ability to hurt your tires a little bit more.
Maybe it's a certain time that he's going to start to hurt them.
Maybe. I mean, maybe he knows when that perfect time is. We'll have to wait and kind of see. But I'll tell you, Jose is just driving crazy fast right now. I mean, look at that. 8.5 seconds behind Kenny Powell now. Every time we look at this guy, he's got a second back. He's just eating into that lead. He looks like Pac-Man out here eating all those dang dots on the screen.
Dots indeed. The 64 of Darren Mullins now down pit road.
I think he might be. He just came down not long ago, so he might be calling it quits here.
What, really?
This has been an Ironman competition, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. Well,
I mean, these guys have had to go through a triathlon of sorts here tonight. I mean, after this race, we're going to have them bicycling. As there goes Jose.
Around Joey Preby. Preby appearing to keep it together here.
And what a string of runs that Jose has had. I mean, he's had a lot of top threes the last few weeks.
Jose's a beast, man. I'm telling you, he just kind of hit a brick wall, but he's consistent. I mean, and the guy is a good driver.
Yeah, he is running down Kenny Powell, now 6.9 seconds back. I mean, he's definitely a good driver, and I even said it on Thursday, even though he might have took it as to offense, because I know he told me that he had heard me talking about him. I was like, you know, he's changed that, though, to where when we first started, he was that reckless kind of person, but now he's not that anymore, and he's really evolving into a really awesome driver.
You got to yeah, I understand, but I didn't think he was reckless. I just think anytime you put a new bull out into the herd, you know, two things are going to happen. You know, the other bulls are going to see if he's a bull, and he's going to have to prove that he's a bull. So I think that's kind of what it was. But, you know, it all kind of played itself out. Now he has earned the mutual respect of the guys that he is competing against. I just laughed out loud, and I want to apologize because I was like, I think we're going to talk to everybody tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, it seems like it. Everybody's just still in the race.
You know?
Well, considering I just did notice, yeah, Darren Mullins, 5 laps down now. Looks like he has called it quits. Of course, Randy Mullins has gotten up to 9th place. I think he's going to be... Yep, he has also called it quits himself as well. So not a whole lot of guys left. And that's why I kind of felt like this is an Ironman thing. Like, you know, everybody's not going to make it to the end here. This is an attrition race.
Yeah, it always is, especially 219 laps. You know, with 17 laps to go in this thing. And I mean, you're spot on as Jose is now some 5 seconds behind the leader.
I mean, and he's got enough time to catch Kenny, but I mean, I think that with the pace he's been running, I think he might end up hitting the brick wall when he gets closer to Kenny. You know what I mean? You got to say he's been putting the needle to the grindstone, or, you know, here. Or his nose to the grindstone is what I meant.
There you go. But you can say whatever you want to say, bud. It's all good. This is a safe space.
Well, I'm just saying, I think he might end up hitting that metaphorical brick wall with how hard he's driving the race car, and he might run out of steam before he gets to Powell.
I don't know. He's driven. I think that's what it is. I think that's what's going to be the one thing that's going to make him push it harder.
Yeah, definitely could be the case, as we now have less than 15 laps to go. Only 4.5 seconds separate Kenny Powell and Jose Acosta. Of course, Jose desperately to try to claw all this time here and try to get another win. Wouldn't that be something, Big Al? Think about the story there. That is a storybook week if I've ever heard one for Jose Acosta winning. If he wins Saturday and Abner wins Thursday, I mean, what a man! You can't make that up.
Yeah, I was going a different direction. I had Jose spinning out, running into the wall there with like 2 to go.
Okay.
Because didn't we see that happen?
Huh?
I mean, I think, my whole point was he catches Powell, and then right there trying to drive in, he kind of loses it. And, that's what I was that's what I kind of saw happening.
Well, I hope that's not what happens, but you're right. I mean, I could see that something similar, or like I said, just maybe the car starts to handle poorly the closer he gets to Kenny. I mean, you got to think also about dirty air. Jose's been in relatively clean air for the last several laps.
I think everybody on the racetrack right now is in clean air.
That's true, but maybe not for long, because Jose is now under 4 seconds behind Kenny Powell.
Come to Jesus meeting getting ready to occur between the two.
I mean, look at the lap times. I mean, 3 tenths, 2 tenths difference between those two. But how bad does Kenny Powell want this? You know what I mean? When Jose catches him, I don't know if it's going to be a very nice and peaceful affair.
Yeah, who spends that much time in front just to turn around and gift wrap it to somebody else? No, I don't think so. With 10 laps to go, Jose's got his nose in the wind. He's been doing everything he can. I mean, he is going to be drifting this car through the turns. He's going to be getting every bit of rubber out of those Goodyears that he can in order to try to close the gap between him and Powell, because otherwise it's going to be for naught. Severa just now having to get around the one car that's in between him and a podium. That is going to be the 16 of Joey Preby. But you have to believe that Joey Preby himself is going to be trying to stand up. This is where he's going to want to stand his ground. I don't know if he's from Florida or not, but I think that's what he does. I don't see him just relinquishing this to Chris Severa because he has fought so hard to be where he's at. Here comes Severa now, coming around the outside. Will he get it done? Still
I think
not
he
quite
will.
done yet.
He goes really high, though. I don't know. He's going to get a good run. Oh, he's going to get real close to the wall, but he's able to get the pass completed.
That's going to put Severa on the podium now. This thing is starting to shape up and look like a race here, Brian.
Yeah, Chris, though, is way too far back. So I think his strategy to win this race is not going to happen here tonight.
I think he's just looking for a good, consistent finish, and it looks like that's what he's going to pull down.
Yeah, it does look that way, as I do believe we're verging on 5 laps to go. Kenny Powell with 2.5 over Jose Acosta. Jose is running out of time.
But Kenny knows that Jose's coming, and right now Kenny's probably feeling just a little bit nervous because he understands that Jose, for whatever reason, is faster than he is. And even though he is still in the lead, Jose still has time. And we got to talk this up because that's what we do, at least for the last 5 laps of this thing. Jose Acosta now, for the first time, Brian, it's looking like he actually has a chance.
He does have a chance. I mean, he's getting within 2 seconds now, Kenny Powell. He looks like he's going to be starting to catch even further. We'll have to wait and see. But like I said before, if he gets into that draft, that dirty air, that's going to start to really affect the handling of that car. He's been so used to driving in the clean air. Of course, Chris Severa also catching up quite quickly here. 7.3 seconds behind Kenny Powell, though. But he is closing in even faster than Jose is, of course, because Jose kind of went out of the gate hitting it hard. But I think Chris has been trying to have a little bit of that candle left here at the end. As we're 4 laps to go.
4 laps to go, and Jose Severa has picked up the scent of the 24 Kenny Powell.
Jose Severa, that's the first one.
Jose, what did I say? Jose, well, yeah, but both Jose and Chris Severa have picked up the scent of Kenny Powell. That's what I said.
That's a good save, bud. Good save. That's the best save of the race right there.
You interrupted me. That's the
okay.
problem. Can't even finish the thought in this room, man. It's crazy.
This is going to get close, though, because 1.3 back now. 3 laps to go. Version on 2 to go. Can Jose do it? He's running out of time, but he can smell Kenny Powell right now. He's so close.
He's on his scent, man. He is tracking him.
He's letting that dog hunt, right?
Powell has to feel like he is being like he's being tracked like a wild animal. I mean,
yeah, getting pushed up a tree right now.
Jose is hunting him down.
He's running out of time. Kenny's just going to try to hold on as best he can, as he now has a second gap between him and Jose. White flag is going to come out now.
Hope the pressure don't get to him.
I don't know. I don't think the pressure's going to get to him. I think Jose has ran out of time. Kenny Powell exiting turn number 2, going to be on the middle of the backstretch. I do apologize. He's going to enter 3 and 4. Jose closes it in quite a bit, but Kenny Powell is still going to do it. Kenny Powell, your victor here tonight. As he shakes the car, excited. He's celebrating a little bit there.
Just a little bit too late for Jose.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Jose was catching him. I think if they had another lap or two, Jose would have been there. It was very, very close. Because you saw in 3 and 4 how much Jose closed in. I think he threw caution to the wind, threw that gas down, and tried to do what he could there. But what a race there for Kenny Powell. Well-deserved. Of course, he's already won, I do believe, stage number 2. Jose Acosta finishing in 2nd place. 3rd place, Chris Severa. 4th place, Joey Preby. 5th place, Gary Adamson. Darren Mullins in 6th, 23 laps down. 7th place, Clayton Hoffman, 57 laps down. 8th place, Paul Olson, 67 laps down. Randy Mullins in 9th, 103 laps down. And rounding out our top 10 is Kendall Lavron, 129 laps down. Of course, Derek Jacobs had an issue, I do believe, with his power steering or force feedback, if I'm not mistaken. I actually did get a message from him, and he mentioned something about that, and I wanted to share it with you, but he finished in 11th. What a race there, Big Al. Why don't we go ahead and take another step away? We'll be right back with a post-race show.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be joined in the booth by our 3rd place finisher here to start it all off, Chris Severa. Definitely we saw big brain strategies coming from you here tonight, and it could have played out. What was going on there in that last stage? We kind of thought, or that last segment, I should say, after the green flag stop, you went long, but then we expected you, just like Jose kind of did, to kind of just burn them up pretty good, considering you didn't have but 40-something laps left to go in the race, but you kind of just weren't able to capitalize. What happened?
Yeah, those guys just had way better short and mid run than we did, and I just would have burned off the right rear pushing any harder than I did on that last run there. But no, it was fun. We were catching a good amount there towards the end, but just ran out of time. So unfortunate. We saved a little too much on the first run of that last stage there. So, it is what it is. But
100%. I mean, definitely seemed like you still got you got a lot of points here tonight, though. I mean, you were a stage 1 winner, which is what I thought was interesting, because we kind of speculated a little bit that your stage 1 was kind of an experiment to see, like, hey, can I do it with a little bit of a short run, and you were able to be successful in that and win that stage. And then your second stage seemed like it was more of an experiment to, hey, here's the long run, let's save a whole lot. And in the final stage, we kind of thought that was all going to kind of come together. But, I mean, you were catching them quite a bit. If you had about 10 more laps, I think you would have been right there with them. So, what do you think you learned from tonight?
just got to find a bit of short run pace, I guess. Just gave up too much early on, and, well, I don't ever think I really had the balance of the car dialed in, so I think it would have been burnt either way, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. I know a lot of guys tonight had some kind of tragedies happen, especially early in the race for sure. But you were able to weather the storm, finish in the third place position. I mean, awesome points day for you for sure, and hopefully I think you'll probably be maybe even increasing your points lead. We'll have to wait and see how that kind of turns out when the points are all done. But awesome job. How do you feel about Daytona Road Course? I know you're kind of a road course guy, aren't you?
Yeah, road course should be fun. We just had a big 24-hour a couple weeks ago, so we'll see. The only thing is that chicane. I don't think iRacing has ever updated that, so I think it's the really bad turtles there still. So that final chicane right before pit road. But other than that, though, I love Daytona, so we should be good just about everywhere else on that road course.
100%, man. We'll definitely expect a lot from you tomorrow, or next week, I should say. Well, definitely great job at your performance here. You led 27 laps, of course, finished third after starting in second place, man. Who can give a shout out to after that performance?
Yeah, again, just gas and go. 3F Racing, and you guys, as always, for the broadcast. I think it was Pioneer sponsoring tonight. So shout out to those guys. Josh, we missed you. Wish you could have ran this. But yeah, looking forward to next week.
100%. Well, thanks for talking to us, Chris, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys. Thank you.
That was Chris Severa, your third place finish here tonight. Next up will be Jose Acosta. Big Al standing by.
Jose Acosta. Man, wow, what a run for you tonight, boss. I mean, it's a long week here coming down to the end of this thing on Saturday night, and this was a long race. I don't know if you've raced any races this long or not, but first off, how do you think that the length of the race? Well, first, congratulations on your second place finish. But how do you think the length of the race affected your overall performance?
I think it did a little bit because that last pit stop, I saw that I could make it and I couldn't make it. Some weird thing with my fuel gauges, and I'm like, is that the reason why Chris like slowing down a lot? So I don't know. I tried it too. I should have stayed with Kenny, and I think that's the reason why I messed up and fell back. I think if I would have stayed with Kenny, and pit it with him, it would be a different story.
And that's
So
that's very that's not ironic, but that's also because we were having a conversation because as analysts, that's kind of what we get paid to do. And there were two different strategies going down. So I think what you just kind of said is that, well, Kenny had the better strategy for your setup.
yeah, definitely.
Uh, so how many laps did you think you put in this week in preparation for this?
Well, I only raced one race, which you know, actually Kenny took me out. That was last night. I raced with Kenny, and well, there was like an incident in front, and I trying to avoid it. And I know Kenny didn't even see me coming down, and he tapped me in the back. But that was the only race that I actually I did so far this whole week.
And are you familiar with the Korean drink soju?
Nah.
Okay, so there's a Korean alcohol and it's called soju, and it mixes with anything. And I kind of called you soju tonight because, I
No,
mean,
this one right here.
well,
This
here's what I mean when I say that is you fit in so well. It's just like what you said in your own words, kind of like you had a setup tonight that was good enough that you could have ran with Kenny Powell's strategy or Chris Severa's strategy. Not many drivers can do that. Some drivers just kind of go out there and they're dealt, they got to play the hand they're dealt. But you have a way of just being able to kind of make the setup kind of work to your advantage. So I guess that's a compliment is what I'm trying to say.
I guess so, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Basically, uh, you guys actually provided the setup. TWR did so.
Okay.
You know, good setup, and obviously get a second place. And I was more worried about what's his name, Huffman. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened to him. I saw that he disconnected. Um, and I was more worried about him than anybody else because he's good.
Well, let's talk about that. So how did you actually? Do you think when Clayton Hoffman, because he was behind you, and when you see him in your rearview mirror, how does that actually affect the way you're driving the car? Do you think you kind of want to drive it harder, or do you think you just kind of? I mean, what was going on in your mind when he was in your rearview mirror?
Um, I I think the moment that he passed me, that moment I was in a saving strategy. So I was like, go ahead, Um, and other than that, I was, once he passed me, I was kind of confused because I was if I was doing the right thing or not, because he just flew by, and I'm like, should I just stay behind him or no? So I just stay behind Kenny, and eventually we actually caught him up, and passed him. So it actually worked on my advantage.
Yeah, that's definitely got to make you feel pretty good. I mean, that's got to boost your psyche. Next week, going to the Daytona Road Course, totally different from what is Iowa. Your preparation's going to be the same. You think you'll turn more laps next week than you did this week? What's going to be the same? What's going to be different?
I don't know, man. Right now, basically, I got like kind of like two jobs now.
Okay.
So hopefully, I get some practice before the race. Um, I know that I have raced there before, and not pretty confident, but I, I I guess I just have to keep it clean, make sure that I don't spin out because there's no cautions other than the stages. So that I gotta watch that.
Well, I tell you what, we can't wait to see what you're going to bring and how you're going to do, man. Congratulations once again. You second place finish, ran against some strong competitors, and you held your own, bringing that thing home tonight and P2. Before we let you go, who you shouting out tonight after your second place performance?
I'm gonna give a shout out to my son. He was just right here giving me a high five. Shout out to you guys for a good broadcast. Yeah. John Lear, and also Pandereta Racing Team, and then my brother too. You know, he gave me a couple tips too, how to go around this track, and it did really help. And Kenny for a good lead.
Yeah, well, once again, man, congratulations, and we're definitely impressed with your performance. Can't wait to see you do it again next week, and don't party too hard.
All right.
Alrighty, that was Jose Acosta. Definitely awesome performance there from him here tonight. And I even kind of said it that I thought that Abner probably gave him some tips and tricks. But we'll definitely be moving on to our winner, though, Kenny Powell. Give us a second. We got to get his ugly mug on the screen here. All righty. Kenny, what a performance here tonight, man. I mean, you seem like we heard it in your interview with Big Al earlier, and you talked about 1,800 laps. That was the ingredient, and you turned even more here tonight. I mean, more. I mean, you've done 2 of these races, 219 in a row. You seem like you've gotten very familiar with this racetrack, have you not?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it last week. You know, I love Iowa. I love Richmond. Those are 2 of my favorite tracks. So this track suits me. You know, in as far as the amount I'm running, I have a different iRacing strategy now. So I'm having fun running a lot of races and just trying to run clean and get the best finishes I can. And yeah, I've had a lot of fun this week.
It definitely seems like it. I know right before this race, you even did an A Open. I mean, so you've turned a whole lot of laps here. You gained a lot in I rating, and you've just been steadily getting some good finishes here. You know, what were you confident during the whole time? Like, what were you thinking when Jose was coming up as quick as he was? I mean, he was flying.
I was just believing in my strategy. You know, at the midpoint of the 3rd stage when I thought it was time to pit. You know, the midpoint came, and I thought I was going to pit then, but I still had a decent sized gap. I felt like I was running, good times. My tires weren't screaming at me, so I even went a little bit further than I thought I was going to go. But even with that, I was confident in the strategy that I was leading at that point, and even possibly pulling away a little bit. So I just knew that if I pitted there and everything stayed the same per se, which a lot of stuff can change, but yeah, I just believed in the strategy that if I pitted midway, that I'd have as good tires as I had right there, at that midpoint, and I felt comfortable and confident with that.
You definitely look confident out there too. I mean, and we kind of did talk a little bit of mess about you during the race. You know, a lot of times I always say that you burn tires up. It seems like sometimes, but tonight, not the case. You had a very good long run. What was the key to that? You think? I mean, do you think it's just the repetition that you've had all week, or?
I mean, I think I told you in private conversations that I had some self-awareness. We talk about tire strategy, tire saving, and I feel like I'm decent at tire saving in traffic and in the pack. But my self-awareness is I fall short when I'm out front leading, or there's open space in front of me, and with that awareness, I really worked on that this week, and so. Just backed it down when I was out in front and ran, I guess, a better pace out front, which allowed me to maintain the pace, maintain my tires, and stay out front.
Well, it definitely seems like this is a week that we're going to see a whole new Kenny Powell. How do you feel about the road course next week? That's going to be a challenging one. A lot different than Iowa for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely don't put myself in the road course king category. So I get through the road courses. I do work at them. I try to get better at them, and I definitely have over the last couple of years. But yeah, I'll just do the best I can there, and hopefully we come home with top 5 maybe.
Yeah, we definitely wish you all the best there for sure. To keep this kind of momentum going for sure. 117 laps you led here tonight. I mean, that is a lot of laps for sure. Almost, I think that is over half of the race here at Iowa. Awesome job to you, Kenny. Who can we give a shout out to after this just awesome performance? I mean, besting some of the best in the ISCA here tonight.
Man, so many things to say tonight. I mean, yeah, passing Clayton, you don't get to do that many times. So, that's a feather in the hat. I know he blitzed by me. I'm not sure what his strategy was, but nevertheless, when you get to pass Clayton, that's a good thing. That's a feather in the hat. The MVP of this race is definitely my brakes. If anybody watches my streams or have talked to me before, I always have a problem with my brakes dragging, and I don't think they dragged one time tonight. So that led to, me being able to run a little better. So shout out to my brakes. Huskenveld, man, if anybody out there has a link to them that can support me and give me some Huskenveld pedals, man, I want them. I need them bad. But anyway, prideful shout out there. Who else? TWRS, Kenny Copeland, man, what a rocket you gave us this week. That thing is rock solid. I did make a couple changes, personalized it, but man, that set was good. Race team G&G, those guys are great. I want to give this one out to Josh Schaffner. This win's for you, buddy. Since you weren't here to win your Pioneer race, I won it for you. And thanks for the sponsorship. And man, who else am I forgetting? But I guess you guys in the booth always like my Brian Britt and my Big Al. I appreciate y'all. I guess we'll wrap it up with that.
All right, Kenny. Well, we definitely appreciate your time, man, and congratulations once again on the win. We feel like we all were rooting for you. We were like I heard that this man's got some long runs, so watch out for him. But thanks for your time, Kenny.
All right, y'all take it easy.
Hey, Brian.
Yes, sir.
I brought Mr. Mullins up. If you want an opportunity, maybe ask him a couple questions.
Well, I have only one question that can come to mind here. Did you blow a tire, Randy?
No, I did not. I picked up the throttle just a tick too early and went across that transition, and she snapped loose on me. And when she did, I just let out the gas, and then it turned around and snapped.
Oh, I was talking
right.
about later. You're talking about at the first part of the race. I understand that. That's definitely something I wouldn't mind asking you about as well. But I mean, you started on the pole and you had that issue. I was talking about later in the race when it seemed like you had a meatball flag all of a sudden and you had to take it down pit road.
Yeah, that wasn't a blown tire. That was me, 90-degree offset wheel, and I picked up the gas and drove it into the fence.
Oh, Lord. We missed that. We tried to go back and find exactly what happened there, so definitely appreciate you clarifying that for us, Randy, and hate that you had the bad luck tonight. Definitely love the persistence, though. You saw Kendall out of the race. You're like, hey, let me get some points here.
Yeah, every time I seen Derek drop, and I was like, well, let me go get that. Then I seen Kendall drop, and I said, well, let me go get that one.
100%. I admire that, but thanks for your time, Randy.
All right, brother.
All righty. That was Randy Mullins, of course, finished ninth. Definitely a lot of determination here tonight. Man, what a race, Big Al. That was pretty interesting for sure. A whole lot of moving parts, just considering how close that finish was. I mean, Jose, just a couple more laps, he might have had Kenny, and we might have talked to him last instead of Kenny. But man, what a race! I mean, Kenny played it out perfectly. Chris Severa was even in there at some points. We saw so many different leaders.
And I just love the flexibility that Jose had, where he could either ran one strategy or the other. Like I said, a lot of guys don't have that ability, and it seems like everybody's praising the setup. So congratulations to TWR. I guess you guys had a strong suit tonight. Brian, it was an awesome race, great production. Can't wait to do it again.
100%. We definitely appreciate everybody out there tuning in, and definitely big shout out once again. I echo what Kenny Powell said about Josh Schaffner. Hate that he wasn't able to race here tonight, but glad that he was able to sponsor this race, Pioneer, and you even got to see some of him here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, in the commercial there. So definitely he was here in spirit, but we appreciate everybody out there tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you next time, as of course we're going to be at Daytona Road Course next week, Thursday, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the broadcast will start. Of course, we started a little bit late tonight. We had a little bit of some issues, but we were able to work that all out. But 9:30, a little after that, is when the race will go green at Daytona Road Course, and same time on Saturday. Both Thursday and Saturday have their own unique cast of characters, so you definitely want to tune in to see what all kinds of storylines are going to be playing out. But we'll talk to you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night.